Welcome, everybody, to the greatest show where I get to show up the greatest people and have way too much fun doing it. Today, my special guest is Alun Jones. Welcome, Alun, to the show. Thank you for being here.
Hello, and thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I paused there for a minute because my audio went really weird. So just want to make sure I can hear Alun. Alun, can you say hi?
Hello.
I can't hear you. Hold on.
Hello.
Might just have to.
You're now muted, Miss Cassy.
But I can hear you, so that's good. Can you hear me?
Cool. I can hear you.
Okay.
I was trying to put on my sexy voice. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
Hello.
Doesn't that one make you to drop your knickers?
Yeah. I'm anyway. Not wearing any.
Me either. Like, shirt only.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shirt though.
Yeah.
So this is Alun, everyone. I wanted to introduce him. He is a good friend of mine and a brilliant facilitator. I just adore you. And let's tell people what we're talking about today. So we're going to talk about bodies, kindness with bodies, sex, money, all those elements. This reality kind of tells us this is like being kind to your body is like eating healthy, working out, getting a certain amount of hours of sleep. Like it's very the structured thing. And what if that's not always totally true for you and true for your body? What's kindness? What's generative? What's going to create the most? So, Alun, could you start us off just talking about what are you aware of? What is kindness to your body?
It's funny because I literally today just started a 4-day deep dive with people called Love the Skin You're In. And this is exactly... yeah,
we're going to have to put a link to this in the show.
So it's exactly what we were talking about today because, so much of what, like, I was asking them on the calls today, like, okay, so at what age did you start to give up your knowing with your body in favor of people who are telling you what you should be doing? Like, you should be exercising, you should be eating these kinds of foods. And for me, that's just not kind. But we're not taught to let our body take the lead with everything that concerns it. And so when we kind of went, and a lot of the questions were like, yeah, but if I let my body like do what it wants, it's just going to eat a whole load of shitty food and make me really fat. And my question is that really true? Is that really true that your body does not know what's good for it? It won't, like, will your body really stuff itself on sweets and chocolates and stuff that actually there's nothing wrong with that if that's what your body's asking for? So for me, kindness with body is the first and foremost, don't judge it. Not now, not ever. And, I remember one of the first classes that I ever went to that really started tipping me into having ease with my body. And it was your class in London.
Oh, yay.
Because there was such a softness with body in that, like, and I've been kind of slightly choosing it, like kind of looking at it and moving into it. But being that, the I am beauty with my body was like, well, what if I am kindness with my body? And what is kindness for you with your body? Kindness for me with my body is stopping myself every time I start to judge it, and just making the demand. So let me backtrack, because the thing with being kind to our bodies is we won't choose it unless we value what it will create more than what we currently have.
That's good.
Yeah. So the thing with that is, like, we're taught in this reality that, or in this world, wherever you want to describe it, that the best way to change your body or relationship with your body is to judge the crap out of it and make it wrong and tell it it's wrong and put it through all sorts of stuff that a whole lot of experts who've spent years studying the body. Okay, and they may well be, and don't get wrong, if what they suggest to you works for you, awesome, go with it. But what I realized for me was all the time I was trying to change my relationship with my body, was always trying to get to be accepted by people, or be seen as sexy, or be seen as being healthy. And if I'm going to be a certified facilitator from Access Consciousness, I have to have ease with my body. Otherwise, people are not going to take me seriously. And like that. And of course, that none of that worked, which is why I never chose CF for so many years, because I wasn't willing to have that with my body. And then I was in Paris with a friend of mine, and we shared an apartment together. And we were walking around in our underwear, to kind of, just being really kind of relaxed with each other. And it took me 3 days to realize I hadn't judged my body once.
Oh.
Like, it was such a, like, it was like on the Monday morning after we'd been to a class in Paris, I'm like, what is that? This is weird. Like, what the hell is going on? And it was, oh my God, I haven't judged my body. And not the reason, but the invitation not to do that was the space my friend was being with his body. And he's a dancer, right? He has a dancer's body. So it's all kind of toned and muscular and six pack. And you know what? Even though he has that, it wasn't done from what I call the toxicness of it. It's just what was required at that time to be a dancer. And so I'm like going, okay, that's what I want to be. Like that for me is so appealing that I can walk into a room and people don't even think to judge their body. That's valuable to me. That for me was such an inspiration to choose that. And so having that kind of space, I'm like, okay, so what's it going to take for me to have that? And so I kind of started doing lots of different things. And then I was at the I Am Beauty class, and that was the softness kind of that you and Sarah were being. It's like, okay, so now I need to exponentialize that. And now I put pictures of me naked all over Facebook and social media. That's what I do, right? Look at me, I'm gorgeous. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm all right with that. Judge me.
Yeah, because you're not judging you anymore.
No,
different, right?
Well, I would say 95% of the time I don't. I have wonky days where I don't have it all off pat yet. But there are days when I wake up and I come back, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror today. And so I have tools to use. But the key thing for me in all of this is just to keep reminding myself, what's my aim with all of this? Do I want to go back to kind of hating my body so much that I destroy my life? Or do I want to be the inspiration for anyone who's willing to receive it to choose kindness with their body?
I love that. All the bodies are like, could you said something, you said doing like your friend that had a muscular body that's really toned, and you said not doing it from that toxic place.
Yeah.
Could you talk a bit about that toxic place?
Yeah. If you look at like Instagram is a great place for this to be aware of it. So often the main pictures that you will see on Instagram, and you had the kind of the fitness guys and the kind of the guys in the speedos and blah blah blah, they've all got the six pack, they've all got the muscular body. Most of them have no hair. Oh well. And never mind. And so for me, it's that toxic masculinity in terms of, this is what a real man should look like. This is what a real man should be like. If you and it used to be very much, if you want to get a woman, you need to look like this. But if you look at a lot of kind of gay culture now, it is very much like, in order to get your man, you have to have the six pack, you have to have the enormous penis, you have to have no hair, you have to work out every day. Otherwise, no one's going to find you attractive. You're going to end up sad and lonely. And, and I used to really buy into that. It's just like, oh, I'm going to be so sad and lonely because I don't have a six pack and a huge penis. And like, whatever. And that for me is the toxic masculinity. And then we turn it in on ourselves. And so there's so much stuff in the media about, women's body image and women are fat shamed and blah, blah, blah. And they are. And so are men.
Yeah.
But it's not talked about because men don't tend to talk about this stuff with each other. It's like, I couldn't possibly tell my friend that I feel, like, could you imagine, just for instance, like two men down the pub going, I feel really fat today. Like, I love that. Like, it just doesn't happen because I can't possibly be that vulnerable. But what if you can? Like the mental health issues around all of this, my body should look like X, and whether you're male or female, like what are the stereotypes? What's the kind of the ideal that you've been told your body should look like that keeps you from just being present with your body however it chooses to show up every day? Like one of my favorite gifts with my body is when I wake up is, okay, body, what do you want to look like today? What do you want to look like? Because could you imagine if I came into a house and, right, okay, Cassy, you're going to get up and you're going to look like this. You're going to wear these clothes. You're going to do your hair this way, and you're going to eat these things. You're going to move this way. Like I'd get the finger from you, right? Because I know better. But
right.
we as beings like work with our bodies, and we go, yeah, but body, you need to be thinner. You need to have a kind of whatever, tighter vagina, bigger penis, bigger boobs, smaller boobs, whatever it is. Because that way people I will be accepted. It's so toxic.
So how many of us have thought that being accepted is the place of kindness rather than not having a point of view whether you're accepted or not, and having no judgment as a place of kindness?
True story. Like, would you really want to be accepted by people who judge your body because you don't look a particular shape? 32, 24, 32. I think that's what is that the perfect woman shape?
So Barbie has it. Yeah. I don't know.
No idea. No, I'm like 42, 48, like 42. So my belly's bigger than my hips, and you know what? I'm all right with that.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I even find in my own journey of like peeling off judgment, I'll reach these new places of like, oh, like you said, like I love my body and I'm so happy. And then someone will say something and I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't even realize I still had that like undertone judgment. I had a friend talk to me the other day about, he was like, oh, I made love to this woman and she had the most sexiest round belly. And I'm like, no, sexy round belly. Those are in the same sentence. Like, are you confused?
Does not compute. Are you fucked up? Is there something wrong with you? Why do you find kind of women with a round belly sexy? There's something wrong with you. Yeah, right.
Right. And it was an awesome check-in for me and go, oh wow, I still like, where have I still bought into that lie? And then just letting it go. Like letting it go out of my world. It was really beautiful, actually.
I used to get really stressed when people judge. I remember once one guy sent me this message on Facebook. What was it called? You fat, bald, ugly wanker, I think is what he called me.
Wow.
And I was like, and I was ready. I was there, like, and I think this was like, I can type really fast. And I typed out this response. And before I even pressed send, I went, stop. Okay, stop. Where am I making that real? Where is he showing me how I've judged myself? And it was like, oh my God, I have had these judgments of myself and I've secretly hidden them. And all he's doing is kind of pinging those, because if you don't even have those points about you, a view about you, if they mean nothing to you, they won't ping you. So I was like, oh my God, I'm really grateful to him for showing me where I've judged myself, and I'm secretly still judging myself. And so I thought, I just sent him a message back going, thank you very much. And I know that totally confused him, because he's like, what? Because of me, I'm like, I can now clear that. So when now anybody judges me for my body for something, I'm like, and I have a charge on it, I might initially kind of want to throat punch them. But after about, 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, I can usually start to move into, wow, do you know what? Thank you so much for being that unkind space, because there's a kindness in there you haven't even acknowledged, which is you're showing me where I have that judgment, or I've bought that judgment as real about me, and now I can change it. Now I get to change it, because you could say things to me like, "Oh, you have really horrible skin." I'm like, and that for me, that just doesn't read on me because I have amazing skin. I'm 50 and I look fucking amazing.
Yes, you
And
do.
like, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah, I love what you just said. I want to highlight it where you were willing to find the kindness even in the cruelty. Like you were willing to receive that. And
yeah,
how much of that is actually being kind to your body as well.
yeah. When we don't make judgment real about our bodies, it is such a kindness. And at the end of the day, all judgment is just a point of view. And look, for me, one of the tools that I kind of almost force people into, and beware body deep dive people, if you're watching this, you will be doing this over the next 4 days. Just saying. Because it changed so much for me was I stood in front of a mirror for 30 days for 10 minutes a day naked. And as Alan does have amazing skin. I do. Thank you. And so I stood in front of the mirror, and there were days where I could get to like 15 seconds, and I would just do it, and I would start to walk away from the mirror and like, remember why you're here. And so I would just be present with all of those bits of my body that I would judge, like interesting point of view. I have that point of view. One of my favorite tools of access.
Oh, I love that. Yep.
It changes so much. And of course, when I remember to say I am beauty, but that's not so I'm not so good at reminding myself I am beauty. I am beauty. But it does help, like actually saying that actually I am beauty. If you have a charge on it, keep freaking saying it.
Yeah.
Because you've got to lean through this intensity, and because everything is just an interesting point of view. It's not even an interesting point of view. It's one of the things that doesn't annoy me a bit. Well, my interesting point of view is this. It's not fucking interesting. It's just a point of view.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, be naked, be vulnerable with you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It really doesn't.
And that vulnerability, like for me, has such kindness to it. Like being vulnerable with my body, be vulnerable even with the judgments that come up. Like not being like, no, I don't have that judgment and pretending I don't and shoving it out. Actually being vulnerable, like, wow, man, I bought this judgment about my body, and then really letting it melt and really letting it go away.
Yeah, true story.
Can we talk about sex for a minute?
Of course. God, it's like 20 minutes and I haven't mentioned the word cock yet. Sorry.
What's going on? So okay, kindness with copulation, kindness with sex, and this is what I want you to jump into. But also my overall question is it possible to have sex without judgment?
Yeah, totally. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So there's a pervasive view that men tend not to get turned on unless they're judged. And for some people, I get that that's probably very true. And it does tend to start with young boys when they're kind of masturbating furiously in the bathroom because they're terrified of being caught and being made wrong for it. So then what they tend to do is they link that fear and that judgment with getting an erection. Unless someone is judging them in some way, they tend not to get turned on. That's just a point of view. That may not be true for you. And if it isn't true for you, awesome. So like, I'm not saying this is the way it is. It's just what I've noticed. And oh God, there is so much judgment in sex. Like, and for me, sex has always been pretty easy. I don't like judgment in sex. Like for me, and I'm probably a bit weird when I talk to people online about kind of the sex that I like. I mean, I get called really boring and vanilla because I don't want someone's hands around my throat, and I don't want to be called faggot, and I don't want to be called bitch, and like for me, like, and that can be really prevalent in gay sex. I mean, that's the one that's kind of I can know more about.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen any kind of porn on kind of, and it has such a lot to answer for, this need to A, have the perfect body for sex, B, go for hours, like who the hell, like, okay, whatever, and raw, but that gentleness and vulnerability of actually being willing to ask for what you want. People that are terrified of asking for what they actually want with sex. And I'm like, for me, the gentleness of sex is, can we just touch? It doesn't have to be penetration. It doesn't even have to be ejaculation. And actually receiving a body and kind of showing appreciation for the body that you're playing with, and appreciation for your own. Like, one of the greatest pleasures for me is when I'm kind of in bed with somebody, is them enjoying my body and me receiving their enjoyment of enjoying my body, and them enjoying me, enjoying them, enjoying my body. There's just like, yeah, exactly. Yes. That backwards and forwards of God, and or when I'm kind of like them receiving my joy at playing with their body. That for me is like just this soft, and it doesn't mean say it's not like it's like, well, let's do missionary and keep our mouth shut. It, you can be passionate, you can be raunchy, you can kind of throw each other around when it's done with kindness. Which is like, what is the body asking for? That's just my point of view. And Helen's saying they're sensual. Yeah, for me, sensual sex is being seduced is just such a kindness to my body.
Wow. So I love that so much, and resonates a lot with me. Did you find, so you talked a little bit about your journey. So at one point you had a lot more judgments with your body, and then you came to, how has sex actually changed for you? Like with the, yeah.
It's really interesting because I'm much more willing now to say, no, that doesn't work for me. No, like, no.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And I won't force my body to and it's just not about it's not about making the other person wrong. Look, if that's what's fun for you, that's freaking amazing. You need to find someone who's willing to play with that element with you, because it doesn't work for my body. And so sex for me has changed from needing to please the person I'm with. There was a need there rather than just an enjoyment of someone's pleasure. There's the subtle difference for me. It's like, I need you to have an ejaculation. I need you to show me that you had a good time. I remember being on top of this guy once, and before I even knew the tool, who does this belong to, and in my head was going, oh my God, I hope he's not bored. I hope he's not bored. And I was terrified I was making this guy bored. It wasn't even mine. Right now I realize, I'm like, oh my God, that was never even mine. But this is what we do. Like, this is what we do. We kind of go into, oh my God, are they bored? Am I doing the right thing? Because they're not saying anything. So gentle encouragement. And I don't mean like real, one thing I really hate in sex is something like, oh yeah, fuck that out, suck that dick, you like it. Like a really bad porn, like, hit my clit. I remember hearing that once in this kind of heterosexual porn, and just this woman going, yeah, hit my clit. And I'm like, really?
It just makes me laugh.
I don't know much about kind of sex with women, but I'm sure punching it and hitting it is not what you're meant to do. Like,
yeah,
it makes me want to cross my legs, and I don't even have one. So. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I apologize to everyone if I've pushed you in on a beyond, but but this is the kind of stuff that we need to talk about with humor, because when we are willing to have a laugh about this stuff, we can then really let go of what would really good sex be like for you. Have you asked your body? Timmy, and I'm gonna spank you tomorrow. So, like, when we ask our body, hey body, who would you like to play with? Who would you like to have play with you? What are the kinds of people that you would like to have play with you? This is for me where we involve our body rather than being the superior asshole that tells our body what it should and shouldn't be experiencing.
Yeah.
All these books, this is the joy of sex, this is what you need to. I mean, I remember once hearing a straight man telling people how all men like to have blowjobs. I'm like, well, first of all, you've never given one, and I've given quite a few, and for me, they're a huge amount of pleasure, but they're different for each man. I mean, it's the same as I guess as going down on a woman. You're gonna like different things, but if you give someone a sex by numbers, it always reminds me of that Friends episode where and they're going a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, yeah, and a 5, 7. Like you, you can't do sex by numbers. You can try. And boy, the people who've done it. I need to kiss you on the neck, and I need to kiss you here, and then I need to do that. And you're going, well, no, too fast. It's like, no, it doesn't go in that quickly. Trust me. Don't go visual anymore. But there are people who do that. It's like, well, I've done this, and why aren't you ready for me? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, and you kind of bring up a good point, and I know this might be a little bit far from Facebook Live, but I just want to go here anyways. How many of us go, oh, I'm not actually ready. Like that was too soon, but I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. I don't want to make them wrong or whatever. Whatever you've decided, they'll hate me. And you just take it anyways. And the unkindness that creates for your body. Like
how much have we turned ourselves in and then buried it and buried it and buried it and buried it and buried it, and so that eventually it's so buried we don't even know it's there. So that when we are like we have someone that we have that kind of nurturing, and then there's this I can't get out, what the hell is this? Like my advice to anyone is never ever ever do anything you don't want to do in sex, and if it pisses someone off, so be it.
Yeah.
If someone is not willing to say to you, okay, it's fine, we'll do something else, my question would be, for what reason would you carry on? If someone is willing to be that unkind to your body, and also when we're talking about kindness with bodies, I don't enjoy having sex with people who are unkind to their own body, because I'm aware of it, right? I'm an aware being, and so when you're like, oh my god, this person's judging the crap out of themselves, this is so not fun, because all I want to do is heal them.
Yeah, that's exactly what's running through my head.
Heal him, Jesus, heal him. And you got, like, for me, sex with someone who has ease with their body and kindness with their body, even if it's not to the degree that I have it, or even if it's even more, like, it's even better when they have more ease with their body and kindness with the body than me. And there are people who do. I'm not saying I'm the kind of the guru. Yeah, kiss them better, exactly, Helen. And let me kiss your boo-boo. But yeah, like it like, please just say, do you know what, I'm so sorry. And if you have to, like, because if they can't hear you're a shit lover, right? Because you don't want to say that to someone necessarily, but it's like, do you know what, that I really love it when you do this. So direct them to what you do like, rather than going, no, like, you can go, okay, do you know what, that's enough. Like, you can go, okay, do you know what, can you go back and do this? Because, oh my God, that's amazing. Because then you start to distract them and you're teaching them what you do like, rather than making them wrong for doing it wrong.
Right. Yeah.
But also, you've got to be willing for people to be pissed off, and you go, do you know what, please don't do that. It just doesn't work for me. But thank you.
Those are great words. It just doesn't work for me, because it is about your
it's
body.
Not me. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Funny. And
always about me. It's all about me.
All about you. Well, and how often have we been on the other side and someone has expressed what they like or don't like, and we go into a massive judgment of ourselves rather than
going, my God, how could I not know that?
I'm terrible. I must not know what I'm doing. Rather than, oh, this is just about them, and this is what is comfortable for them, and actually having that vulnerability with sex as well. Yeah. Okay, we already are. I want to keep talking. We're at 30 minutes already, so we might just have to have more conversations about this. But so before we move on, I just want to point anyone who is new to Alun to please check him out. Go. We have links in the description. Go to his Facebook pages. Get to know him. He has a program coming up. We're going to make sure that's in the links. Is it still joinable? Or is it doors closed?
If they get in very quickly, they'll need to get in and listen to the call before 5 o'clock UK time tomorrow. Yeah.
Fast, my people.
So be fast.
Be fast. Yeah. Please check him out. He's phenomenal. And this is just the beginning of what's possible with you and the gift that you are and this area and so many other areas. So is there anything else you want to, before we wrap up and we jump into our game, is there anything else you'd like to say about this topic? And
I just want to reiterate again, like, when we're being kindness for our body, it's an inspiration and invitation to people who didn't even realize that was possible. Like, never negate that, or not never negate, but really, I would invite you not to negate that. When you're being that space of kindness for you, it changes people's lives, and not necessarily people that you know. Like, people will just pick up on it and they won't even know why. And it doesn't matter. You're not doing it to kind of know that you changed, or just be that change. And what would it be like if nobody in the world judged bodies ever again?
oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, please. I'll have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go into our game. So this game, and I'm actually really excited about this because I know how sexy you are.
Thank you.
So the game title is Anything is Flirtable. So here's how the game works. We have 4 very non-sexy topics to choose from. We're going to take turns reading and flirting with the audience, showing anything is flirtable. So bonus points to either of us who don't laugh during their turn. Alan, you get to choose the first topic because you're the guest. So we're going to have a photo's going to come up here for us.
Okay. Oh, I can't read that.
That's a little hard to read too. Vacuum instructions. Okay. Best chocolate cake recipe. What is gravity? And the Monopoly instructions.
Oh my! So what was the first one again?
Vacuum instructions.
Okay, let's do vacuum instructions. Do I have to just talk about vacuum instructions, or am I going to be given them?
She's going to be, our producer's going to text us, and you have a line and I have a line, and we go after each. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was thinking, Jesus. Okay. All right. All right.
Okay. Do you see it in your?
I do. Yes. Let's do this.
Oh, I guess I have the first line. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Set the vacuum cleaner in the upright position.
The handle screw has been installed for shipping purposes.
Sorry, that's so good. Oh. I totally lost my bonus point. Okay. Remove the screw before inserting the handle.
Insert the handle as shown in the illustration.
Insert the screw that you removed.
Be sure the screw is tightened, but never over tightened.
Oh, that was so good. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
A revenue stream, I think, for you.
Yeah, that's got to go on YouTube.
Okay, we're going to do one more category. Can we see it again? Okay, I'll choose this one. We're going to do what is gravity?
Okay.
Okay. How did the audience like that one? They loved it.
Of course they did. It's me and you. It's, you know. All right.
All right.
You first. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gravity is a force of attraction that exists between 2 masses, any 2 bodies, any 2 particles.
Like, fuck, I lost. Okay. All righty. Gravity is not just the attraction between objects and the earth. It is an attraction that exists between all objects everywhere in the universe.
They proposed that gravity is actually made of quantum particulates, which they call gravitons.
Anywhere there is gravity, there will be gravitons on Earth, in solar systems, and most importantly, in the minuscule infant universe, where quantum fluctuations of gravitons sprung up, bending pockets of this tiny space.
That was amazing.
This isn't just any gravity. This is Earth's gravity. Oh my goodness. Such a tiny space. So very true, Mr. Timian. Yeah. We all have a tiny space.
Definitely one of my funnest shows yet. I adore you. I'm so grateful. And again, guys, please check out Alun for more of this juicy sexualness, yumminess. And we'll see you next week on the show. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye-bye.